You know, this morning we were talking Taylorsville with the city's chief executive, Russ Wall, and he joins us now live in the studio.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Wall, for joining us this morning. All right, so Taylorsville, one of the youngest cities in the state, but also one of the most efficient cities. So, first of all, how old are you?
We're 15 years old.
So you're a teenager.
Wow,
so you've got an attitude,
you look great
right?
for 15,
yeah,
by the way.
I feel great for 15.
Yeah.
You know, let's talk about the age of Taylorsville. So what sort of kinks in the road does that cause for you? Are there problems associated with being such a young city?
I think probably the biggest problem is having a city identity. You know, we're sort of known for baseball. Throughout the years we've always had a powerhouse baseball team. Right. But when we incorporated, we brought portions of old Taylorsville, plus we brought in a little bit of part of Kearns and some other areas. So you know, we're trying to get everybody together and have one big identity. So that's probably the biggest problem. When
you are like that and you have everybody around you, you don't really have room for land expansion, correct? I mean, your growth is with what you have. You don't have to worry about keeping and taking more and more blocks and things like that.
We're landlocked and we're 95% built out.
So there's not a matter of having a whole lot of new houses. So you're dealing with people who are established or redoing the houses. How has real estate been for your place? Because some places like Harriman or other, they just keep building and building out new, but you are dealing with what you have.
Yeah, our housing stock mostly was built in the 70s and 80s. We're suffering right now from people who raised their families in Taylorsville and they don't want to move, so we have a lot of empty nesters sitting in 5-6 bedroom houses. So we're trying to find some different options for them inside the city so that we can get some younger families moving back in.
All right, so you were just named one of the most efficiently run cities in the entire state of Utah. So what criteria are you up against for that title? Well,
basically they look at the cost per capita of how to run the city. So Taylor, we run lean and mean. We have 115 people on our staff, including our police department that runs a city of 60,000. We contract with a lot of things. We go with private providers for our city attorney, for our city engineer. We partnered with West Valley City to build an animal shelter so that we could both share that facility and not have the expense of having two administrations. We contract with the county for some of our public works, and everybody in our city wears more than one hat.
Can you give President Obama a few lessons with that work?
Well, he won't take my call.
It's too bad, because even though you're not huge, you have just as much to deal with. And again, with budget constraints and things like that. Well, congratulations on the award, I guess, for being cited as a great city. I think we're talking to you a little bit later on. Okay, we'll make sure. Well, this morning we're beginning our city spotlights, and with us today is the mayor and city chief executive of Taylorsville, Russ Wall.
Mayor Wall, it's great to have you here this morning. You were just named Taylorsville one of the most efficiently run cities in all of Utah, but you're a relatively young city as well. What, just 15 years old?
15 years old.
So how do you manage to run yourself so efficiently, being so young and not inexperienced, so to speak, but, you know, still?
Well, when we started our city, we kept the idea in mind that we wanted to keep taxes down, we wanted to be as efficient as possible, and we wanted to provide the basic services, of course. Right. But we also wanted to be able to provide some extra services, and we knew in order to keep taxes down that we would have to run the city lean and efficient.
Now, you also have for your size anyway, a fairly good business base. I mean, you have some good businesses that are actually within your city limits, don't you?
We do. We have a good retail store. Family Center has been a mainstay in the valley for years. It's getting on in age a little bit. We're going to try and renovate it and do some new things with it over the next 2 or 3 years.
American Express is in your city too, isn't it?
American Express is in our city. We have Sorensen Research Lab in our city. We have Nelson Laboratories. Yeah, we're
good base.
Yeah.
So you've got some pros, but then you have some cons. One of the things plaguing you right now, traffic. You've got some traffic woes in the city limits.
Traffic is terrible. We're right in the middle of the valley, and it seems that everybody who wants to get from the southwest part of the town to the northeast goes through our city. We have the most busy intersection in the state at 5400 South and Redwood Road, and we probably have a few others in the top 10. So yeah, traffic is a problem.
But that's also good for people to stop at some of the shops. So there's probably some shop owners that like that. Good for traffic.
We always encourage them to stop and fill our tank.
Exactly.
But how do you combat some of those traffic woes? I mean, what are you doing to try to help reduce the problems in the area?
We're working with UDOT on some fairly innovative new transportation solutions. We have continuous flow intersections that'll be at 6 of our intersections in our city by the end of this year, and then next year we'll kick off the first reversible lanes road in the state of Utah on 5400 South. In the morning you'll have 4 lanes going east and 2 lanes going west, and in the evening you'll have 4 lanes going west and 2 lanes going east. So we're really excited about that. It'll be interesting. You know, you have to pay attention to the lights above you to know you're going the right direction.
That is, I've lived in 2 cities that have those. It does help with traffic flow, so I'm sure that'll be the case. You also have a big project going on in your city right now, a Veterans Memorial that you're trying to get funded and then eventually built. Tell us about that.
Oh, we're so excited about that. This will be a unique Veterans Memorial in that we're not only honoring the servicemen and women from the various branches of service and the various conflicts that we've been in, but we're also going to incorporate children into this Veterans Memorial to honor and to memorialize the families and the sacrifice the families made. So we've been working on this for 2 years now. We've had great support from the business community. We're trying to raise as much money as possible from the private sector, so we don't have to use a lot of tax money to do this. I
have seen a depiction of it with the children and the soldier picking up the children, things like that. I want to let people know they can go to Taylorsville, Utah, TaylorsvilleUT.gov. That way they can get more information on that.
Absolutely.
And Mayor Wall, we will definitely have you back in our 7 o'clock hour of ABC4 on the CW30 because we want to ask you a few more questions about your efficient city and including snow removal since winter is just around the corner.
The rumor that you're going to annex Murray. We want to know about that.
I'm joking. I don't think so. Let's not start that rumor, Don.
I'm just messing. Cause a little trouble. All right, thank you, Mayor. Welcome back. It is 7:16 this morning. We're beginning our city spotlights, and with us today is the mayor and the city chief executive of Taylorsville, Russ Wall.
So Mayor Wall is here. You were just announced that you are one of the most efficiently run cities in all of Utah, which is a pretty big accomplishment, seeing how young your city is.
We're proud of that.
Just 15. You're a teenager.
That's right.
What does that mean? What does that mean, though, when you're the most efficient? I mean, just how you spend your dollars or your police force? How does that mean?
Yeah, I think that they look at a number of things, but the chief thing they look at is the dollar spent per capita to run a government, and you know, of course, you have to provide all the basic necessities and then a few extras. But we have looked for efficiencies in everything. We privatize wherever we can. We partner with other cities for some of our services. We're not afraid to go to our neighbor and say, hey, we can save $100,000. Let's build a building together.
You know, it's a lot of the times it's that the big guys could learn a few lessons from the little guys and how they're running things. So a lot of what's on our mind right now, fall is here, winter's coming, that means probably a lot of snow. Last year, I'm assuming most cities blew through their snow removal budgets pretty quickly. Are you ready for this year?
You know, we are ready. We've always actually been pretty efficient anyway in how we do it, so there wasn't a lot of changes. I think probably the biggest thing last year we discovered was that we had to concentrate more on the major streets a little bit more, and we got to some of our cul-de-sacs and some of our smaller roads like a day later, and that was quite a shock to folks who are used to us being there within a few hours of the snow. But this year I think it'll be pretty much a lot of the same. I've got my personal ATV outfitted with a little plow on it, and I've been known to shovel sidewalks in front of City Hall, so we're all ready for it.
Yeah, we need a picture of that. By the way, there's a picture on your website. Is that you in that red suit with a band or whatever, or is that someone else?
In the red suit with the band?
Yeah, no, apparently not. Okay. I just wanted to know because it's not close enough to tell who it is, so we won't go into that whole thing. Now, your city, unlike some of the other cities maybe to the south of Salt Lake County, where they are growing and growing, building new, you really don't have room to build new. So what kind of challenge does that present to a city where you can't add new houses?
One of the biggest problems is trying to find transitional housing for our empty nesters. My wife and I are empty nesters. We live in a 6-bedroom house. We need to really start looking at moving into a townhome or a condo and let some young families move back into the neighborhoods. Another thing we find is you know, as a the city grows older, it changes your demographics as far as schools, and we have a lot more seniors in our city, so we're looking at opportunities for seniors, things for seniors to do, and places for them to enjoy and stay in the city. So yeah, there's a few different challenges.
All right, speaking of those challenges, we're going to talk to you some more in the 8 o'clock hour here on ABC4 on the CW30, and we want to talk about some exciting new changes coming to traffic in the city and also some business. So
I always like talking traffic.
All right, yeah, don't we all? Thanks so much.
Just don't like driving.
Thank you.
Yeah.